Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a Tarot Oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector. And this is a collective or general reading, so parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you, leave the rest. This is also a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on back then in your life, that may give you further clarity as to your situation now. So I'm going to begin with the underlying, oopsie, the cards are jumpy. Hopefully that's a good sign. There we go, okay. All right, I'm gonna begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. And we have the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is talking about a passion for new discovery, new energy coming into your life. It's like a breath of fresh air, like it's new passion for life, basically. This is a gift from God and the universe for staying on your divine path. I'm just going to double check that I have this lined up properly. Yes, I do. I was doing a different kind of reading earlier. I just want to make sure that the camera didn't get bumped into a different position. All right, so we do have the moon here. And the moon is talking about hidden illusions, secrets coming out. The moon right now, we have a new moon coming up, not until April 17th. So that's about what is it today? You know, about 2 weeks from now, not quite. And so this energy, we're still, we just had a full moon on the first of the month. So we're kind of in between the moons right now. It's a good time to chill out. There's not as much astrological influences. There was a huge amount of astrological influences at the end of February and the beginning of March. And now we're more in a calm down energy. And so we're getting geared up for the next run though. But anyway, the moon energy is representing as lobsters climbing out of this emotional water here and getting ready to get on their path. And kind of figuring out, okay, I got to get on my path and I need to get between these two pillars. But there's this domestic dog and this wolf and they're howling at the moon, and how am I going to get past that energy? And so he has to be brave and make himself vulnerable to be able to do so. There's the energy here of the sun, the full moon, and the new moon. So this can talk about the eclipse season that we just had. Also, that was happening at the end of March or the end of February, the beginning of March, and that energy stays with us for 6 months. It makes quite often, if you look back after an eclipse season, like 6 months later, you look back and you'll be like, wow. There was significant change in my life, and it's kind of like percolating energy in the background that you don't notice so much, but until you look back and say, wow, I didn't even realize I made so many changes. So this is talking about there's some immature competition around you. This energy is my Mean Girls card. It's talking about, picture narcissistic cheerleaders that are at a cheerleading competition and they can see the other team has better than them, but they don't care. They want that trophy. And they'll do anything to win. And if they can't succeed, their mothers will pull strings in the background to make sure they do. It's that kind of energy. When you mature, you start to realize, that when you are competing, no matter if you're in a sport or, you're competing for a position at work or something like that, that you are going to, you're not really competing with the people that are also wanting that position. You're competing with yourself to keep your shift together when you're under pressure, so that you can have an even better performance than the last time you did an interview. It's that kind of energy. So and if you see the competition doing something better than you, just watch them and learn from it, and see if you can add it to your repertoire. And if you are constantly just doing your best to even just be 1% better than you were last time, it really adds up. If you're on a team and everybody on the team is in that energy, your team is very likely to to be very successful. And then we have judgment coming in. Judgment comes from the spiritual realm down to the physical. That's what this angel blowing the trumpet is representing. And the ancestors here are literally climbing out of their box with joy. Yay! Judgment is here. So they may have had some unfinished business when they left this realm and moved into the next. The descendants across the water there are also cheering them on. So this is talking about some sort of judgment. It can be, you know, it comes from the spiritual and then can end up in the courts of law in 3D. Also, sometimes this can represent the energy of skeletons coming out of the closet in your family, and maybe even Pandora's box being opened and nobody being able to figure out how to close it. Because once you open Pandora's box, it's open. And then here is the energy of regret and remorse. 3 cups are spilt over, and this person is staring at what they've lost here, and they just really, really in remorse and regret about what's happened. They could stand here for the rest of their life, and quite often people do. So it's important to recognize, hey, there's 2 cups standing behind you. Turn around, pick them up, go down the path, cross over the bridge over troubled water, and head to your castle. Now the castle is half dilapidated and half standing, so this is kind of an energy. Are you going to look at the situation as the glass is half full or the glass is half empty? And here, this energy, the cups in tarot represent romantic love, but they also represent love of your family and your children and other people, your friends, and etc. And also maybe it could be love of something you love to do or love to be. Sometimes it can even be talking about overcoming an addiction, something that you really loved, and maybe having regret and remorse for all of the problems that caused in your life. So, but in this case, we have 2 cups that are leaking wine, and then a cup with another liquid. So quite often this can also represent that there was a third-party involvement in a relationship that was supposed to be a couple. And after this happens, and this judgment is coming in, this is talking about the wheel of fortune is turning in your favor. So this judgment may release you from this energy, you know, of the past. And the wheel of fortune is actually 3 wheels turning, synchronizing the past, the present, and the future to bring in serendipity basically back into your life. The wheel of fortune means that things in your life are improving. And the wheel of fortune actually is 3 wheels, as I said. And on one of those wheels, there's actually the Hebrew letters of the name of God. And the name of God is Tetragrammaton. Now, a tetragrammaton is actually a sacred geometric symbol. And that is really amazing when you think about it, because it's saying that our God is actually sacred order. And so that there's order in the world, and that God has made the world with perfect order. And it's interesting because the letters, the Hebrew letters in geometria, which is when you apply a numerical value to letters, if they were put in different combinations, they would approximate the ratio of 5 energy, and that's 1.618. And these are like little boxes that are nesting in each other, and they form a specific pattern. We see it all through nature in the golden spiral. The golden spiral is when, you know, you look at hurricanes, tornadoes, even water going down the drain represents that energy. If you look at, you know, pine cones, pineapples, that kind of energy, like those kind of circular spiral energies, they all follow a specific pattern. We also have the golden ratio, which is talking about the proportions that make up our face and our bodies. And, you know, and throughout nature, you can see it in vegetables and plants, and even in the way the limbs of a tree, the branches, the way the numbers specifically, the way they are placed. It's just everywhere you look after a while. Like, for instance, in your, you know, if you look at the human face, the proportion between the top of the head, like the hairline, down to the eyebrows, and then from the eyebrows to the bottom of the nose, and the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin. And then you look at, okay, what's the size of the head, and then the size of the upper body to the lower body, and then even the upper limb to the lower limb, to the hand, the foot, and the finger and the toes. They're all in a very similar pattern, like the same size basically. You know, there's slight variations, but generally the same. So this is actually speaking about the perfect order in that God made in the world. And I find this so, like, I found it so comforting when I learned this, because when you go out in nature then and you're looking at flowers and the way the petals are on a flower, and you know, like pine cones and that, and you're walking around, even when you look at the way the waves come in from the ocean or from a lake, it's just, you can't miss it. It's just everywhere. And even if you're like, you might be going through a chaotic time in your life, or feeling like the world is in total chaos, you know, when you go out in nature, you remember, wow, everything really is in perfect order. And you know that if it looks a little chaotic, the world returns to order and then expands, and it maybe gets messy around the edges, but eventually it contracts and it comes back into this perfect order that we see. Really, really beautiful energy. It's really, once you start to, if you look it up and you look into it a bit, and then you go out in nature, you'll be amazed, because everywhere you look, you'll see it. It's really cool. And then we have this energy of the Knight of Cups coming in. And so the Knight of Cups is representing, you know, generally this is like the knight that you read about in the romance novels and that's in the movies, delivering a cup of love. This is talking about someone, you know, he's dressed to the nines and he's classy and he has a solid offer. He is getting down on one knee and he is asking you for your hand in marriage, or perhaps to go for a date if you just met. But this energy is saying someone is interested in you. And the knights would work for the king and the queen and deliver messages far and wide. So when this card comes in, it's representing some sort of communication or information coming in towards you. Now, in the old days, it would be in person, and you know, it could still be in person, but it's not likely to be by horse. So it could be something that comes in the mail. It could be a phone call, a text message. It could be, let's see, an email. You could be on social media and get a message, or you might be see an event advertised there and you go to it, and then you meet someone there that is the perfect person with the perfect information for you, or the perfect lover. And this energy, we can also see it in, it's important to sometimes just for a few minutes a day, find out what's going on in the world, look at what's going on at the top of the news with the leaders of the countries, etc. That information is definitely coming down the pike. It's as above, so below. So if it's happening up top, it's happening to a certain degree to the collective below. And so it's just give you some information about maybe why things are going the way they're going that day. Maybe, for instance, maybe something happened in the stock market and you had a real slow day at business, and it was like, really, like, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? And then you look it up and you find out, oh no, it's widespread everywhere, or the internet is down and, you know, in half of the world or something. It's situations like that. And so we have this energy of a transition coming in. This card, quite often people get like freaked out when they see it, but it doesn't mean an actual crossing over of anyone 99% of the time. What it means is that there's a major transition coming up in your life. A lot of readings are having this card come in because of the energy that the planet's in right now. There's a lot going on the planet. And so we definitely, you may have been noticing there's a lot of transition happening. And we have, like, for instance, the king underneath the Grim Reaper's feet has been trampled. And this isn't representing an actual king, but it's representing systems like the monarchy and that we thought would never change or shift. We just had someone arrested, in the monarchy for the first time in, like they say, like 3 centuries. So it's like nobody thought that would ever happen. And we're seeing like all sorts of things happening all over the world right now that we didn't think we would see happening, and finding out what has been happening, and just like, whoa, what has been happening is not how it seemed to be on the surface. So there's lots and lots of that type of energy change coming in. There's also light at the end of the tunnel, which is representing this energy here. There is, in the background, you see those 2 pillars. Again, it's showing that the sun is shining there. This is your path of glory. Stay on your path of glory no matter what's going on, no matter what change is happening. And like this older person is trying to kind of bribe the Grim Reaper, like, don't come through town, we don't want your change. And, the Grim Reaper is going to come through town anyway. And, the one thing they say you can always count on is death and taxes, and also change. Change is the one constant that is happening every second of every minute of every day. And if you fear change, there's no point. It's going to happen. It's happening all the time. Most of the time, you don't even notice when change is happening. So then these 2 little children, one of them is holding a flower, and it's talking about the bloom for the new and wanting the new. Like that, same as the aces. The aces are talking about new energy, new insights. And for the first, like in a very long time, this hasn't happened in a very long time, where 6 or 7 planets have ended up in one sign together, in the sign of Aries. And this energy is really intense because there's some really big planets that take a long time to move, and for them all to end up like in the same sign the way they did at the end of February, beginning of March, and into this time frame now. And we still have coming up on the 25th of April, Uranus moving into Gemini. And this is going to be another big planet that's making a move. So it's changing a lot of the energy on the planet, and a lot of people are feeling it. And so the Aries is the infant of the zodiac. It's the very first sign. So it's like the newborn baby, and the glyph is an actual ram. And it's Rami energy, babies come in head first. That's the energy. And, for something that's so little and helpless, if you've ever had a newborn baby, you know how like they're very loud when they don't get their way. And, you're running, they're the boss of the house. Everybody's schedule changes when there's a newborn baby around. And then we have the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords is representing like someone who feels like they're in a mental prison. Now this energy, the swords in the tarot represent your mental intelligence, your discipline of your mind, your ability, your thoughts. Your thoughts are expressed through words, and words could either be written or they could be verbalized. And so this energy is representing someone that feels bound up, like duty bound a lot of the time. They can't see a way out of a situation that is going to work and not cause problems for someone. And so that represents the blindfold, not being able to really see a satisfactory solution. And this person, I feel like at one point there was way more water here. The water in tarot represents emotions, and I feel like now the emotions have dissipated, and she's managed to put like 7 of these 8 thoughts behind her. So she's, maybe there was a lot of tears falling, thinking about, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And her right foot now is moved forward and it's on dry land, and but her left foot is still in a puddle, but it's very shallow. It's not saying that her emotions are shallow, but I feel that at one point there was way more water here. And so she's gone through a lot of emotions, and now there's just this one sword out front here. And this is the one that she is, okay, this is the action that I'm going to take upon this thought. And so she's getting ready to walk out of this situation. These swords can also represent, she does have her back to her castle here. And, the thoughts are separating her from it now. So this can talk about wanting to separate herself from some people. and also that we're close to her, and also this energy can represent the thoughts of other people and words that were said, written and said behind her back. And so this is a lot of energy here, and but she's getting ready to move out of this mental prison and, you know, move forward. And then we also have the 10 of Wands. So the 10 of Wands is sort of the same energy. It's talking about the actions, though, that people take. And so this could be the actions that you have taken. The wands represent the element of fire. And so it's also like when you plant seeds and they grow into these wands, and this represents the actions that you take, that you've planted basically with your actions, the seeds you've planted with your actions, and what has grown from it. So this can be representing a harvest of sorts, but it's a maybe intermixed harvest. So some of these wands might actually be really heavy because they have the fruits of your labor on them, and you're ready to have that harvest come in for yourself. And then others of these can be sometimes an energy of burdens that you're carrying for others that don't belong to you. And this card, what this card is saying is this load is getting to be way too heavy for you. This person can't see the forest due to the trees, which is meaning like he's so caught up in the details right now. Like, look how close his head is to these wands that he can't see the big picture. Like, he can't even see that he's almost on his, like, he's almost home here. He just has a little ways to go. And a lot of people will quit just before they're about to be successful. And this is saying, don't quit now, keep going. And if you are carrying any burdens that do not belong to you, put them down right now. Just put them down in the field. Maybe go to the castle and see if you can go get you the keys to your truck and drive out here and have your truck a bit closer so that you could put them in there. Some, you know, like that kind of energy. Find a solution to make life easier for you. You're almost there. Don't quit now. And then this is talking about the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is talking about someone who's in an elevated position. You have mastered your skill set, and people are noticing. And so this energy is a really good energy to be in. It means that you really are good at what you do. And perhaps you've received the papers or the degree to say so. Like you're actually certified now, or you have the degree. This can represent quite often skill sets that people that is not that common, representing like the entertainment and the arts, sort of like if you're an actor or an actress, and the producers and the movie people are wanting to sign you up for the lead role in the next big movie, blockbuster movie. Then it could be like you are a brilliant musician with a beautiful voice, and the record companies are wanting to sign you up. You might be a very beautiful model, and some of the top modeling agencies want to sign you up, kind of that energy. You might be into sports, and there's teams coming around and they're offering scholarships and also to go into pro sports. If you're at that level, and they want to sign you up for their team. So this is saying you're in a really good elevated position, and but you need to make sure that if you are collaborating with other people, like these people here, this is a sculptor and doing this beautiful stonework, and these people are coming here and they have plans and they want to collaborate and get you to do like work for them. But the thing is that you have to be really careful here, because you have to make sure that you understand the value of your work, what you should be paid for it. There's so many people that have been in, like, especially in the entertainment industry, very talented people that end up getting breadcrumbed while everybody else around them makes money from their hard work. And it stunts their creativity and pretty much makes them not enjoy the very thing that was attracted these people in the first place, because they no longer have control over it. The choice is gone from it. The contract says you have to work 60 hours a week, even if you have a young family and you want to be spending time with your children. Too bad. you have to work 60 hours a week and you have to make it look like this and it has to be done that way. It's that kind of energy. So be really careful with this energy. This can represent secret societies also, and secret societies don't advertise the fact that they're secret societies. You usually find out later after you sign the contract or made the agreement, and they take it very seriously. Their societies come first. So the group energy is way more important than any individual, and they will expect you to toe the line and do things exactly the way the group does. And if not, they have their ways of making you enforcing their rules. Well, excuse me. Yeah, like leaving you out in the cold if you don't if you don't sign up, if you don't do things their way. Quite often the secret societies will use tactics. They have a lot of tactics that they gaslighting, ruining people's reputations, you know, gang stalking, isolating people, just making it so that if you're not going to come work for them, you're not going to work for anybody. And if you do work for them and you don't do what you're supposed to do, then it gets even worse. So it's that kind of energy, and it's like it takes all the fun out of life, basically. So this energy quite often is saying, like, these people are isolated from society. They're blacklisted, whatever. We have someone on crutches here, and he's wearing a plague bell. In the old days, they didn't have apps to be able to ostracize people from society and force them to give up, you know, any ability to be able to earn a living or be part of society. They would just tie a big bell around their neck so people would hear them coming into town from a mile away and be able to get out of their way when they came in, which kind of made it hard to get a job, you know, or to buy groceries or do whatever they needed to do. This person's also barefoot in the snow, which is a very uncomfortable place to be. There's only 5 pentacles here, and there's 10 in the tarot, and like there'd be 2.5 for each of them. There's not enough to have a decent lifestyle. And so these tactics that sometimes can get played out, and I mean, there's a reason why this card is with this card, and this one's on judgment, and this one's on regret and remorse. I mean, you know, so you have to read between the lines here. You don't even need to. It's pretty obvious. You maybe signed a contract like this and this has happened to you now and you don't know what to do because you don't know what to do. There's nowhere to turn to. They've ruined your reputation. People aren't wanting to collaborate with you anymore. You know, everything's going downhill and you don't see a way out. And so this energy talks about tactics being used. And, you know, it's, you know, if there's a flake or two in your life that are against your, or working against you, working against your company, your business. I mean, anyone can handle a flake or two, but when they add up and they pile up, it's a lot of snow. It's heavy to shovel, and it can actually be so heavy that it collapses your roof. So these people, sometimes this isolation can also represent self-isolation, and the tactics that people use are used from every level of society all the way up and down, and sometimes we use these tactics on ourselves. This is talking about this energy is changing. Yay. That's good, because it was like looking so promising, you know, with this new passion coming in and that new love coming in, the Wheel of Fortune turning in your favor. And then it went to kind of this energy. So the World card is now saying that the World card is card number 21 in the Major Arcana. The Fool starts his journey at the 0 point, and he takes a leap of faith and goes on his cycle, on his journey. When he gets to card 21, whenever that is, it means that cycle is now over and a new cycle is beginning. So that is good news. This is also talking about, the 10 is talking about the end of a cycle. So is this card here. And this is also talking about the beginning of a new cycle that's more in your favor. So yeah, definitely something went down here. You still do have a strong foundation for being able to move forward. So that's good news. And so this is talking about the 3 levels of making money. And this one here is talking about safe money. It's a strong foundation, but it's not, it's enough to pay your bills and do what you need, you know, like to get all your bills paid, so you have shelter. Big step up from here. But you are, you know, you have to kind of play it safe because you don't have a lot to play with. And then there's the heart's desires, where you go after your authentic desires, and then your crowning glory, which is when you're on your destined path. And if you're on your destined path and it's like you're really on it, that's when the wheel of fortune starts to turn, and it'll start bringing in more opportunities for you to be able to do what you need to do. And notice this here, that this person also has their back to the city like she does here. And this is talking about recognizing that maybe you need to move to get out. Like, it's very rare to be a hero in your own hometown. And also this can be talking about playing small, like not taking, selling yourself short. It's important, like, of course, that if you take risks with your finances, that they're very calculated risks, and that, you know, you've researched them and looked into them and taken your time to make sure it's a good decision. But sometimes we can be so worried about losing any money at all that we don't want to take advantage of the opportunities that get us into the next level of making money. So this is saying, don't sell yourself short, don't play small. You know, you have a strong enough foundation to move forward on this new cycle. Because there has been a tower hit. So this is talking about, I'm building a pyramid here, and this is what's going on at the bottom, basically, in the tools that you have. And this is the obstacles that you've come across. And so there's some pretty challenging obstacles here, but now there's a tower. And so the tower represents a reality check, where everybody involved here has to take a look at their life and look at it like, whoa, like, what's going on here? So the tower, there's one person that's shocked falling out, and one that's kind of like, I kind of thought this might happen. The lightning has hit the tower because you weren't paying attention when the universe was trying to let you know in a more gentle way. So the universe might have started out whispering, hey, you want to take a look at that? And then you don't. So the universe brings out the frying pan, and you get whacked on the head with the frying pan, and you're like, ow, that hurt. But you still don't do anything about it. And then, you know, the 2x4 comes out, and that hurts a lot, but you still don't do anything about it. So then lightning has to hit your tower. It's on flames. You're going to have to rebuild. You know, you're not going to be living there for a while. It's going to be like a journey to just rebuild, you know, having a home to be in. So that it's talking about that kind of energy, where pay attention to what's going on so that you can maybe prevent the tower and catch it, nip it in the bud, basically, you know, catch it earlier on before it becomes a disaster. But it's, quite often when this happens, it just means that you weren't paying attention to the signs, and the universe might have been trying to tell you, and you just didn't get it. And so it's kind of like, well, every time you didn't get it, the force that came towards you was stronger and stronger. And then we have the high priestess. And so the high priestess uses her intuition as well as her logic. She's highly intuitive. This represents infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. A lot of people really worry about information right now with AI, like the misinformation and all that. So it's really good to have sharp intuitive skills so that you can kind of get a grip on, is this like real information or not? Does this feel strong to me? Does it feel like it's like something I like that feels strong enough to do? Or is there something that when I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's a, you know, that feeling that you get. And so this is talking about using your intuition like the high priestess. She sits next to the throne with God, and she is very highly intuitive, uses the cycles of the moon, understanding that when the new moon and the full moon are about, that's a really, really good time to tune in. Your intuition is even more sharp. She is sitting between these two complete opposites. This one represents Jesus, and this one represents the devil. So, you know, she has to get comfortable and neutral to whatever is happening in the information in between, so that she doesn't, so that she can sort through it and make strong choices. And so that's the energy of being able to quiet your mind and quiet your emotions so that you can actually feel, that's the way I want to go, to the light. That kind of energy. And then we have the Hermit. And the Hermit is, this is talking about going through a dark night of the soul, which this energy here represents. And so the Hermit is like smart enough to know that they need to go inward, and they need to use their intuition, and they need to go and pray and meditate and isolate themselves away from other people so that they can do so. So the Hermit climbs a mountain, and when he gets to the top, he has his lantern, and when the lantern is full of the light of the North Star energy, it means that he is now ready to take action. His staff is golden, and this is representing he's ready to take action from what he learned. Now, you don't have to actually climb a mountain, but you need to take some time here to really go inward and quiet yourself down so that you can feel, okay, what is the next best, pray and listen for the answer, like actually be tuned into source energy. And then shift happens fast after that. So this is talking, the energy shifts, and it's right on this wheel of fortune. So this is talking about something new being launched, this new passion for discovery. Each of these wands, they're kind of like, if you think about the energy of Sagittarius, which is this energy of the wheel of fortune, it is representing that energy. Sagittarius energy is the centaur, and the centaur has the bow and arrow and launches the arrows into the skies to hit the target, and they tung 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 tung, they hit. And so these have been launched. They're already on their way and about to land. And so this is saying whatever shift is coming in now that you've done all this inner work, it's shifting as we speak, and it's already the wheel in the spiritual realm. Judgment has already been called, and the wheel is turning to bring favor into your life, and this new energy is about to land. Yay. And it's an energetic upgrade. Yay. So this is the Magician. So the Magician is the first card that after the 0 point energy, and this is talking about this is the second one. So you don't necessarily, the Fool doesn't necessarily come across all the cards from the major arcana, nor are they in a specific order. The only one, the 0 point is when they begin, and the World card is when it ends, a cycle and a new one begins. So the Magician is talking as above, so below. Infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond, to bring your thoughts and from your heavenly inspirations down to earth, and to create a beautiful garden. You have all the tools that you need. You need to learn how to use the tools, and you need to know which tool to use at the right time. And that this is how you are going to bring what's above to below, down to earth. And then the Magician is pointing here. The Magician is pointing, they're saying there's a major transition coming in. You're overthinking it. And now you need to take this one thought that you have now, that you're strong to, and you need to implement that one and bring it into being. So what is that going to be? Look at this. This is talking about being patient and staying on your journey. And this is another Sagittarian energy, which is really interesting. So this is saying that this is going to put you, this transition, and once you make this move that you need to make, it's an energetic upgrade, and now you are back in this energy of temperance. So this is also a Sagittarius energy. So this is Sagittarius, Sagittarius, Sagittarius. Interesting. And so this is saying that, the temperance is talking about having the patience to stay on your destined journey. Because sometimes when we take these shortcuts that we know, shouldn't have taken that shortcut. It's like building a house and the foundation isn't strong. If the foundation isn't strong on your house is going to start shifting. And so that's the kind of energy here. So A lot of people feel that, you know, in the Bible it says that God sends down 144,000 earth angels, and that's to make the world more fair and a more beautiful place. So this earth angel has her foot dipped in the universal waters, adding her own special alchemy, her own talents, her beauty to mixing it in with this energy. And where she has her foot grounded on earth, look at the beautiful flowers are already starting to grow. This is talking about staying on your path of glory. The sun represents the path that your destiny from when when you came onto this planet. And this is talking about celebration. So this card does represent a celebration. Having said that, it's not, these people aren't celebrating each other. When you can see that because no one's looking at each other, they're looking at the cup. So they're looking at the event that's happening or something that has happened, and that's what they're celebrating. They might not even know each other that well. Quite often when I see this energy, because the cups are quite often about romantic love first, and then after that it could be someone else you love or that kind of energy and something you love to do or be. This energy, why is there 3 people in a romantic love? So one of these people, it could be saying, might have been involved, or maybe all of them were, for all we know. But this is sometimes talking about gossip and slander, about third-party involvement in relationships, you know, about other people's, people talking about other people's love life, etc., what's going on. And sometimes it can even represent someone that's involved in that energy. Also, there's a lot of cultures, in particular in Europe, where if you toast someone and you don't look them in the eye, that they have a big superstition there that it causes 7 years bad luck in your romantic love life. And so if you don't look someone in the eye when you toast them, they'll freak out on you. Like, look me in the eye. I don't want 7 years bad luck in my love life. So it's kind of like, you know, it's contradictory energy. It's not my favorite card, but I always want to give it like, okay, maybe they are actually celebrating something. We do have the moon here, and unfortunately this energy always goes with a moon card. Like if there's a moon card and it's a full moon around the corner or the new moon coming up, you can be sure that, you know, this energy is like out there doing their, you know, shifty shift. And then this is talking about the energy of being in rough waters and wanting to go onto smoother waters, calmer waters with God. And this can represent this energy of, again, this energy of possibly something happening maybe when you were younger. That's what it feels like. Maybe your inner child needs some healing, because this is like the rough water represents volatile emotions, chaotic energy. And sometimes like this adult with the child and no baggage represents an energy of wanting to go heal yourself, go to calmer waters. The conveyor has to dig very deep to be able to push this boat off with this pole and move it forward. So this can be representing this energy that your inner child needs healing. There's no baggage then, and that and the swords here at the front of the boat can represent an energy of not, you know, overthinking things, and you want to just, you realize you need to get out of that energy to be able to get into this energy, basically. So this is about having the courage to move forward, to move into your authentic desires, open your heart back up again and make yourself vulnerable. And this may be about a new relationship coming in, a new passionate relationship coming in. Maybe someone's asked you out or whatever, and it's like you've had a bad experience here and you're just, whoa, just don't know if you want to open your heart up again. And so this, you know, to this kind of disappointment again. So this is talking about someone standing, this is a different castle than this one, or maybe you rebuilt it. Who knows? That's what like you have to do when there's a tower, is rebuild your life. So now you're standing on your turret, and maybe this is someone else, the person that you've met, and they're standing on their turret and they're like thinking they've got the world in their hands, they realize like, but that they're feeling like a big fish in a little pond. Like they want something new. They want this new passion to come into their life. This could represent the person that maybe you've met, or that this new energy coming in. And they realize they're a big fish in a little pond, and they want to maybe add another person to their life, you know, maybe expand as in having a family, having children, that kind of energy. It could represent business as well. Like I quite often think of this as someone who's very successful where they're at, but they realize that there's nowhere else to go. There's no more clients or whatever that are interested in their product, and so they're thinking about franchising and maybe you know, having a new business in another location, and sometimes going international. So sometimes this is this person contemplating, hey, maybe I want to get married and move, you know, maybe you met someone and they're from another country or whatever, and so your country's apart, it's long distance, and it's kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to go through that kind of energy again, that kind, you know. And so then this is talking about definitely someone has their eye on you. The Page of Cups is representing a younger version of the Knights. So the Page of Cups, when the Page of Cups is around 7 to 14, they would work for the king and the queen in the court, and they would come from the surrounding families that were like, you know, higher educated in that, to work for the palace and learn the ropes. And if they were well suited for it, and they were still there at the age of 21, then they would be considered maybe for a knighthood, as long as they could afford a horse as well. So this energy is talking about communication coming in again in the same way. This can also represent online dating or long distance relationships, because this person understands there's plenty of fish in the sea, but he's totally focused on this fish. And that could be someone saying this person has an eye on you, and wants to offer you this cup of love. And then look at that, the Ten of Pentacles comes in. So this is saying, you know, you hit the golden buzzer. You know, it's raining money. You have the lifestyle, like you have the person you love to be with, to share this with. You have the children you want, the pets. You also have the time to be able to enjoy it and be able to visit with your neighbors. It's having like a really beautiful lifestyle with this person. So that's awesome energy coming in. And we have someone here, the Queen of Wands. And so that might be your energy now, that this person is wanting to ask out. Do we have any other? We don't really have a whole lot of figures. This is the Queen of Wands is the first actual, like, you know, king or queen or someone like that from the major, or like that, you know, is a suit sign other than the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups might be wanting to give this cup of love to the Queen of Wands. And so the Queen of Wands represents the energy of a natural beauty that is very optimistic, a sunny disposition, represented by the sunflower. Someone who uses her intuition and her logic for creative solutions, passionate about life. She has this little black cat, which represents, like, she doesn't worry about superstition like other people do. She is very good at finding creative solutions to any problem. She does what makes her happy. And so this kind of energy she's fun to be with. And so that might be the energy that you're in and wanting to offer a cup of love. We don't really have a real good idea of who's who here. This brings in a lot of opportunities. You're like a black hole sucking in opportunities. Each of these cups is a gift from the universe saying, these are all yours. You're a black hole, suck them in. And this is saying you can have them at any time. Sometimes this really freaks people out, and they can really make it like people freeze almost, because they're spoiled for choice. They don't know which to do, so they don't do anything. They kind of "Oh, I'm scared to do anything." But all you have to realize is that, like a black hole, you're the center of your universe. You're the one who has to put a spin on this. These are here for you. They're gifts from the divine. And quite often they will show up as challenges. But possibilities are often wrapped up in challenges. And the more challenging, the more beautiful the possibility is. So it's talking about taking your time, choosing one or two, working on them, and maybe with your new partner, and that it's just going to bring like this new a passion for new discovery, trying out new things, doing things in a new way, experimenting a little. And then this energy of being the wounded warrior. It's kind of like, finally, like this energy is over. Like you managed to land these 8 wands. Congratulations, because it looked like it was quite the struggle. And so this energy is talking about now that these have landed, you're leaning on this 9th wand here, and that can represent the direction your heart wants to go in now. And you're exhausted, but now you're on that 9th wand, and you managed to land these ones. So there's a lot of opportunities coming your way. You made it. You're almost at the top there, and it's due to your strength and your commitment to going inward and really working on yourself so that you can get into this opportunity. Now, I still feel like in this particular reading that there hasn't been really a movement forward with this new energy. It's a promise of that new energy, and it's the promise is there because your passion for new discovery for life, instead of sitting here like you could for the rest of your life, basically, instead of doing that, you went inward. You did the shadow work. You looked at your, when you were a child, you worked on that. You kept going no matter what, even though when it was really, really challenging. You told people, hey, you're going to have to pick up your burdens. I'm not carrying them for you. You kept going back and doing more work is what's coming up. And so I do feel that this energy right now, this is you've landed it, and now this is talking about having this infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond, because you were brave enough to reach into this lion's mouth, which represents your fear, and face it and say, okay, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to get involved in this new energy. I'm going to make sure I do. And so just from what the magician is pointing, I want to look here from down to up, is, a transition happening. You're overthinking it. But when you stop and you get into this energy, you're going to be on your destined journey. You're going to get into this energy then, the Queen of Wands, who always has a solution for any problem, which is going to open up all sorts of opportunities for you. And you're going to have, the reason this has happened is because you did the inner work. You looked at your shadow. You were brave enough to do so. A lot of people find it very hard to do that work, because you could still be sitting here in this energy here instead. And so from the bottom to the top and back down from this angle, we have the energy. There's hidden illusions. There's secrets that maybe you're not aware of. You still have a strong foundation, but you recognize that you need to, if you want to expand your horizons and move into a lifestyle and the energy that you want, you are going to have to probably change location and turn your back on the city that you're from kind of energy. There might be some people that you need to let go of because they're involved in this energy that's causing you so much heartbreak. And this is the tower's hit, so you have to do something about it. It looks like you've rebuilt as much as you can, and you had a strong enough foundation to do that, but I think you rebuilt in a new location. Maybe took the insurance money and did that. There was something fishy in your love life, and sometimes that can be that energy, but there's new love coming in once you get through the rest of this. So I feel like that's represented here, is that these ones that were launched when you went up to the mountain and started taking consistent steps of action to where you wanted to go, have landed. You managed to land them, which is like a huge feat. Congratulations. It was due to having the courage and the determination to face this every day. I'm going to improve myself. Like I'm going to be inspired by the competition. And it opens you up to all these new opportunities. And you've let go of the fear of that. And look at how, like, you know, if there was fear here of too much opportunity, here it's like, look how much smaller that shadow energy is in comparison to how it was, right? Like, this isn't even the main feature now. The sunflower is turning with the sun back on your path, or on your destined path. That's a total energetic upgrade. You're able to bring all this beautiful energy down into your physical world. You've quit overthinking. That was the major problem. This has allowed you to make a huge transition in your energy and be able to step into the new and be kind of fearless about it. You know, that's the energy we want to be in right now. There's going to be a lot of new. Uranus is moving into Gemini on the 25th of April, and it's going to cause another huge fluctuation of new energy. And the last time we had Uranus in Gemini was in 1941 to 1949. And look how similar that energy is now. Like, so, yeah, it's very interesting, the energy. If this is good, I'm ready to go. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Please do give the reading a like and comment if you have enjoyed it. I really do appreciate it. It empowers me to build my channel. And also, I'm going to clarify for those of you who want clarification. I'm using my Oracle, Tales from the Vector. And this is something I started in 2007. In 2020, I completed 64 paintings. It's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. In the description box below, okay, we're ready to go here. I can see these cards when I come out. So in the description box below, I'm going to put the numbers on these cards. And this is how they're listed in my gallery. The order that are on the cards here. And I'll list them in the order they come up here. And so you can look, you know, the information to get to my site, everything's will be in the description box below, and you can take a look at that if it gives you further clarity. So we have transition coming in with this passion. Yay. So this is a gift from God for you deserve to have the life that you are meant to live and get out of this illusion. Life of illusion basically is what's coming up, and having the courage to do so. And look at that at the very top. That's the battle cry, basically. Courage, courage. The need to be right. This is talking about sometimes people get caught up in the karmic space of the need to be right, where you would rather be right than be happy. So it's saying, like, when like maybe this is how you're why the ancestors are where they are here, where you're still having to clean up what they were not able to finish clearing up before they crossed the veil, because maybe they didn't want to admit to themselves they were wrong. And then that caused them to not have the opportunity to learn from their mistakes as much as it could have. And we have the superstar energy here. So this is talking about harmony in your words, your thoughts, and your relationships, that kind of energy. Moving in. And we have the star energy here. So the star energy is talking about following your destined path. The star is very similar to the earth angel energy. It's about when you're following your North Star and you're on your destined path. We have the Aries energy. I feel the Aries energy is representing all those planets moving into Aries, causing this major transition, and reassuring you that in the future there's going to be passion in your life again for love. You need to finish this up and move into the correct energy. The last thing you want to do is attract another partner to yourself when you're not healed, because you're going to attract the same old energy and replay it, or you know, not be attracting what you really want. And so when the horoscope signs come up in my readings that are general and collective like this, I just want you to be aware. I'm not talking about individual people. An Aries did it. No, I'm talking about the sign itself. And so the qualities of the sign, the state of being, sometimes there's like a stage of life that they're in that can be helpful to explain what's going on. So we can all learn from it. We have a little bit of every sign in us, or most of them. Most of us have most of the signs. And so this is just talking, how can we learn from it? Now, in your own specific, as you're watching this, it might be, oh no, Colette, it was an Aries. And trust your judgment on that. It very well could be. I just want you to understand that's not my intention. My intention is to learn from the energy on a broader scale. In a general collective reading, it makes more sense to me. And so the Pisces energy, yeah, it's talking about Neptune moved in from Pisces into the sign of Aries, and that was on towards the end of February, I think on the 26th, if I remember correctly. And this energy, Neptune, Pisces is ruled by Saturn and Neptune. And that energy was like about idealism and how you approach relationships and relationships with people, money, places, things, business, that kind of energy. And the Pisces energy is a lot more dreamy and you know, kind of like giving people second chances, that kind of energy, a little more emotional. And Aries energy is, hell no, I'm going to assert myself here. It's that kind of energy. So I feel like it's talking about that. And the thing here is like Neptune was in Pisces for 14 years. And it's how we approach, you know, business and our idealism and all of our relationships. So it's kind of saying you're going to have, this is sink or swim time. You're going to have to relearn how you do it now. The ways that you did those things in Pisces are not going to work the same way that they work in this new Aries energy. And we're in this new Aries energy for 14 years with Neptune. So, you know, it's going to be like that now. So you're going to have to be like the newborn baby and figure it out as you go. And then we have anger. Yeah, I'm pissed off about that sometimes when I think about it too. All this, like Neptune was getting you, get your ducks in order, make sure you understand this stuff, because the Piscean energy is a little bit dreamy. You know, you need to get things in order. If you have things in order, then things work out, and that worked really well. But now, that's not the way it is now, because now it's in Aries, and for the next 14 years, you're going to be having to do things in a new way from how you used to if you really want it to work out. So yeah, anger is the gift that keeps on giving. It can be passed down from generation to generation, and it can motivate people, but man, it's a harsh way to motivate yourself. And then we have Mother's Worry. What card is this on? Yeah, you know, it could be your mother is worried about you if you don't have any shoes on in the snow. Yeah, but it also can be this kind of energy of repeating mistakes. And, you know, when you say, mirror, mirror on the wall, I've become my mother after all. You might have said when you were younger, I'm not going to make the same mistakes my parents made. And then you're looking in the mirror one day and you're going, damn it, I made the same mistake my mother made. Like, and it just dawns on you how much you are like her. No matter how much, you know, you were determined not to be. So the attachment is when we get attached, that's like the mother of all karmic spaces, because if we're attached to a person, place, or thing, we're going to more than likely do what we can to hang on to it. And that might be like get angry if we can't, and the need to be right. No, I need to be right. I need to keep this. It has to be this way. It can't be any other way but this way. It has to be my way or the highway, basically. Having foolish expectations that the universe cares that it's your way. Good luck with that. There's more than you on the planet. You are the center of your universe. There's no doubt about that. Like a black hole, but so is everybody else. So it's kind of like expectations are always going to create limitations. When you have an expectation, things are going to go this way or that way. You may have noticed quite often It doesn't. And you just have to accept it and, recognize that you're going to have to accept doing it in a different way. We have the hangman. So the hangman hangs from the tree of knowledge upside down so that they can get a better perspective on what's going on here. Like maybe you've done something foolish and now you're like, man, how am I going to get out of this mess? That kind of energy, getting that balance. So the reason he hangs from the tree upside down is to get a different perspective on life. And we have perception right here. So down here, when this happened, your lover may have found out that you thought, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. For sure, man, I'm going in that direction. But then later, if it makes you feel any better, he found out that it was fake. The grass was greener because it was fake. And he's like, oh man, now he wants you back, but there's no way. You're already done with that energy. You're already on your new path. And you're in this energy, like you've landed those, your harvest, and you've let go of any burdens that no longer belong to you, and you're not going to take this energy back on as a burden in your new path. No way. Not after doing all this work. Forget it. And that's when we have the World card coming in. Again, saying yes, no, yes, no. It's saying, yes, I'm on my new path. Yes. It's saying, no, I'm not going to be so foolish as to take in the same old energy that I was in that caused me to go into hermit mode and have to spend all that energy, working on my shadow self so that I could move forward in a strong way again. So this is a really good reading. It's talking about real life energy, that's for sure. And like I like it because there's not really any particular person really here. It's more about this shift can be like real life. This is a common energy in the world for sure. And it's saying, hey, we're all human. We all have the potential to rise to the top using our courage and being able to dig deep and have the integrity to do things and stay on our path, be the best version of ourselves that we can be. And we'll eventually get to the top here, and it's a lasting. The thing about that is when it's a God-given gift, it's lasting. And so it's not something you cut corners or cheated to get it. It's yours. It's what you came here for. So congratulations. This is a real beautiful energy. I really like it. I hope you've enjoyed the reading. Please give it a like and comment if you have. Helps me build my channel. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I would be honored if you did so. And I will be back with another reading, daily reading for you again tomorrow. Bye for now.